Imagine this, a single photograph, nothing more than ink on paper, passed from one hand to another, not just to anyone, but to the one person who despises you the most. A hater waiting, eager to find something, anything that could be used against you. The plan was simple. A picture would reveal what words could not. A frozen image would expose your weakness, your flaws, your hidden fears. Your enemy was supposed to look at it and smile with satisfaction, ready to tear you apart. But that's not what happened. Instead, there was silence, a silence so sharp it cut through the room, because when your hater's eyes met that photo, the reaction wasn't what anyone expected. No laughter, no smirk, no cruel victory. What they saw unsettled them. It chilled them to their very core. In your picture, they didn't find fragility, they found strength. They didn't see a victim, they saw fire. Not a flicker, but a storm burning behind your eyes. And in that single moment, the ground shifted beneath them. Your enemies believed they had it all figured out. In their minds, a single photo would be enough to reduce you to something small, something predictable, something they could mock and dismantle piece by piece. They counted on your scars looking like weaknesses, your silence appearing as fear, and your past being painted as shame. To them, that picture was never just an image. It was supposed to be a weapon to hand to your greatest hater so they could map out your vulnerabilities and laugh at your expense. They expected it to confirm their beliefs, to make you look fragile, broken, easy to destroy. But expectations have a way of betraying those who rely on them. Because the truth is, what they handed over wasn't a weakness at all. It was a window into your story, your struggle, and your rise. They wanted your enemy to see a target. Instead, what stared back at them was something they couldn't define, something they couldn't control, something that refused to be broken. When the photo finally landed in your haters' hands, they expected the usual satisfaction, the kind that comes from mocking someone they despise. But as their eyes traced the lines of your face, something unexpected happened. The grin never came. The smirk they were saving never appeared. Instead, their expression hardened, their silence grew heavier, and a flicker of unease crossed their face. Because that photo didn't show a victim, it revealed a survivor. It didn't highlight defeat, it highlighted strength. They saw scars, yes, but not scars of shame, scars of endurance, proof that every attempt to break you had only shaped you into something stronger. They noticed your eyes, not dim or lifeless, but burning like fire, not a fragile flame, but an inferno, alive and unstoppable. What unsettled them was simple. The picture didn't confirm the story they wanted to believe. It contradicted it. Instead of weakness, it showed resilience. Instead of fragility, it showed defiance. And in that moment, the photo became a mirror, reflecting back not your downfall, but their fear. Your hater thought they were prepared. They thought they'd see weakness they could exploit, flaws they could magnify, and fear they could savor. But what unsettled them most wasn't what they saw. It was what they couldn't see. Because control thrives on predictability. And in that moment, staring at your picture, they realized you were beyond prediction. You weren't a formula to solve, a pattern to decode, or a weakness to exploit. You were something else entirely, something untamed. That terrified them. What your hater feared wasn't destruction. They live in chaos. They feed on pain. What shook them was the discovery that you are not chaos they can command. You are chaos they cannot contain. A storm with no direction but forward. A force that doesn't bend when pressure rises, but grows stronger because of it. In your eyes, they saw a truth they could never silence. You are not their victim. You are their reminder, a living, breathing threat to every illusion they ever built about control, and nothing unsettles a hater more than realizing their power doesn't work on you. What your hater never understood is that every trial, every betrayal, every wound carved into your life wasn't your undoing. It was your preparation. They expected you to crumble under the weight of their schemes, but instead you rose piece by piece, forged by the very fire they hoped would consume you. Every insult became fuel. Every betrayal became armor. Every attempt to silence you gave you a louder voice. Your story is not a tale of weakness. It's a testament of resilience. They tried to write your ending, but every chapter they burned only pushed you to create a new one, stronger than before. Your scars, your pain, your setbacks, these were never chains. They were sharpened edges, turning you into a weapon they couldn't control. And that's the part that rattles them most, because when your hater stared at that photo, they didn't just see what you survived. They saw what you had become, not broken, not bitter, but powerful, unshaken, unstoppable. The plan was supposed to be flawless. Your picture, given to the one who despises you, was meant to seal your fate. But instead of handing them power, it stripped it away. In that frozen image, they expected to see a target. What they saw instead was a warning. Your hater's silence wasn't strength, it was fear. Because in that moment, they realized the weapon they thought they were holding had turned in their hands. They weren't the ones dissecting you. They were the ones being exposed. Your resilience, your fire, your presence. It reminded them of everything they lacked, everything they couldn't control. That's when the balance shifted. The hunter became the haunted. The planner became the one without a plan. The picture they thought would crush you became the mirror of their own weakness. And what chills them most is knowing this truth. Once someone has risen through storms, there's nothing left to take from them. You can't defeat someone who has already survived the fire. Here's the truth your haters will never admit. They don't get to define you. Not your enemies, not the whispers in the dark, not the lies spread to break you. You are not the stories told behind closed doors, and you are not the picture they pass around hoping it will reduce you. You are more than an image, more than a memory, more than a name tossed in their games of jealousy and fear. You are alive, you are rising, and you are far bigger than the version they try to shrink you into. Haters thrive on control, but they cannot control what they do not understand. And they will never understand how you keep moving forward, no matter what they throw your way. That is what terrifies them. The realization that you are not fragile glass waiting to shatter. You are steel, sharpened by every strike. So remember this, their opinion is dust in the wind. Their laughter fades, their whispers die, but your strength, that echoes, that endures, that becomes the very proof that you are not defined by them. You are defined by the fire that refuses to go out. Picture it now, your hater staring at the photo they thought would break you. Their eyes search for weakness, but all they find is strength. They look for fragility, but all they see is fire. That single image becomes a mirror of their failure. Proof that nothing they did could erase you. They wanted to see a victim. Instead, they saw a storm. They wanted to see a downfall. Instead, they saw a rise. They wanted to see an ending. Instead, they witnessed a beginning. And that vision haunts them, because the more they look, the more they realize what they're truly facing. Not a person easy to silence, but a force that refuses to bow. The photo no longer feels like a weapon in their hands. It feels like evidence that they've already lost. What chills them most is knowing that every time they remember your face, every time that image crosses their mind, they'll see not the broken version they hoped for, but the warrior you've become. And that is a picture they'll never be able to forget. They thought handing over your picture would end you, but what they really did was unleash you. They wanted to create fear, but instead they became the ones trembling, because when your hater saw your face, they didn't just see an image, they saw the proof of everything they failed to destroy. They planned your downfall. They whispered about your ending. They built traps, spread lies, and waited for you to collapse. But every plan shattered. Every scheme failed. Every weapon backfired. And now the very thing they tried to use against you has become the reminder that you cannot be erased. The chilling truth is this: the greatest revenge is not anger, not hatred, not destruction. The greatest revenge is standing tall when they swore you'd never rise. It's walking forward when they prayed you would crawl. It's showing the world that their fear doesn't define you, your fire does. So let them whisper, let them plot, let them stare, because you are untouchable now, and this is only the beginning. If this message resonates with you, don't keep it inside. Share it, let it spread. And if you're ready to rise higher, hit that subscribe, drop a comment, and let your fire be seen, because the world is watching, and you're just getting started.